If you've ever had a bankruptcy or a foreclosure and you still want to buy a home in Northeastern Wisconsin, I've got George French with us today from Marine Credit Union, a bank that actually looks at not just credit score, but common sense. George, I'm excited to have you on the show today, and I'm excited to talk to people that have had a bankruptcy and a foreclosure. I think a lot of them feel like they're never going to be able to own a home again. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. You're not wrong about that. These type of deals are incredibly rewarding because not every bankruptcy means that somebody was financially irresponsible. Sometimes bankruptcies come around because someone's loved one passed away and there was financial hardships around that. Sometimes it's medical debt.
Medical. Yeah, I was
Sometimes,
going to say medical, right?
cancer comes up. You fall, break your leg, and that turns into a whole bunch of medical debt because it's infected, and you end up having to file bankruptcy. And then other times, different circumstances come up, arise, and then it gets out of your control. With Marine Credit Union, though, we really like to look at one, what happened, who you are. We lend a lot by character. Not what happens to you doesn't always define who you are. It's what you do to get out of that situation that does. How do you get back up? How do you get back on your feet? With us, we don't need to see that your bankruptcy's been discharged for over 2 years. Theoretically, we could do one the day after it gets discharged.
Wow.
But we're going to want to take a look at what happened through that bankruptcy. Is getting you into a mortgage really what's best for you? Are you financially ready to get back into a home? Different things like that. So we will get together, you and me, we'll get an application going. We'll take a look at the whole picture and we'll be in discussion. What can you afford? What would you like? How are things going? And we'll come up with a common sense solution to that. Sometimes it might be that we need to wait a little bit. It might be, hey, bankruptcy was just discharged, but I believe you can do this. If you think you want your payment at $1,500 a month, then let's see you put $1,500 away into a savings account every month for the next 4 to 6 months. One, that proves that you can do what you're telling us you can do. Two, you have a whole bunch of money all of a sudden saved up that you can put towards your down payment, put towards your closing costs. And three, there's a little bit of a self-gratification there that you've done it. You've overcome everything. When we get to that point, it's nothing but reward.
Let's talk about the foreclosure aspect. Obviously, there's, people struggle sometimes with foreclosure hardships, like you're saying. What does that situation typically look like? And how have you been able to help people that have had a foreclosure but still had a dream of ownership? Because typically it's 7 years. Sometimes, depending on the program, it can be less than that.
Yeah, absolutely. Foreclosures happen for all sorts of different reasons. Divorce is a very common one. To separate, one person gets a house, ends up in a single family income. It's just not, doesn't play out properly. With Marine Credit Union, what we really like to look at is what's the circumstance you're in right now. If you're in an active foreclosure, is there equity in the house? Is there a way that we can look at what other debts you have out there? What can we do to consolidate so that your overall budget that's currently drowning you is suddenly pulled down, where maybe you were paying $2,000 a month between all your auto loans and credit cards that were running out of control and your mortgage. And we can put that all into one place by using the home and the equity and save you $500 or $600 a month. And that is a totally different situation for that person. Sometimes a foreclosure will happen because of, again, the medical stuff. You have all these medical bills that are coming up and medications and prescriptions that you got to take care of. And that puts you in a situation where you're choosing life over a bill. That's a hard spot. But now that medical issue is gone. But the foreclosure process is still started. Let's come in and let's see what we can do to help you. If you've already had a foreclosure and it was, 2, 3, 4 years ago and no one else is going to help you, who you were isn't who you are now. What you went through isn't who you are today. You're a totally different person, and we're going to look at it that way. And that's how we lend. You are more than just a credit score. You're more than just a situation to Marine Credit Union. You're somebody that we would like to take from struggle to financial freedom.
Yeah, and it's actually quite refreshing because I've been in this business for 17 years now, and I've just seen a lot of situations where they see that F word on the credit report or bankruptcy, and it's out the door. And there's still a lot of great lenders out there that do coach them on what they do need to do to be able to get in that spot to be able to purchase again. But it sounds like you may have an option for those potential home buyers looking to get back into home ownership. I'll have George French with Marine Credit Union's information below. George, thanks for taking the time today and talking about being able to still purchase a house potentially if you had a bankruptcy or foreclosure.
Yep. Thank you for the time, Greg. Take care.
You're welcome.